Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 294. I'm Phil Graham. I hope everyone had a merry, happy Christmas. I can't believe that it's already 2 days after Christmas. I hope you're doing well. And in today's episode, we're going to have a fun, frequently asked questions episode where I answer your questions. I'm also going to be including my number one Facebook ad tip as well. This is the last episode of 2022. How crazy is that? I can't wait for the new year, my friends. I can't believe that 2023 is less than a week away. And I'm super excited for 2023. There's so much opportunity and so many great things. And speaking of that, make sure you check out my next two episodes. I have not recorded them yet, but they're coming out next week and the week after. Those two episodes are going to be focused on why you should be focusing on Facebook ads in 2023, why you should go all in on them, and then also how to crush it with Facebook ads in the new year, because it's so important. This could be a game changer for you and your business. So make sure you guys don't miss the next two episodes because they are going to be amazing. I can't wait to help you in those. And if you guys want to get in touch because you're looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can finally learn ads the right way, or you want somebody to run your ads for you, or if you've got some ideas for episodes for the show, for any of those things, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. So let's jump right into answering your questions. I've got 7 questions I'm going to answer. 5 of them are Facebook ads related and 2 are not. I figured it's fun to throw the 2 in that aren't because I get questions that are not just ad questions too. So we'll throw a couple of those into the mix as well. So let's start with question number 1. It's from Blake, and he asks, what other platforms do you like to advertise on besides Facebook and Instagram? And that's a great question, Blake. I'm a fan of diversifying your ads and being on more than one platform if you can, if you've got the budget for it. And even though this is a Facebook ads podcast, we run ads for clients on many other platforms in addition to Facebook. So some of my favorites are definitely Google and YouTube and Pinterest and TikTok. And there's others. There's LinkedIn and there's others. But if you had to, if I had a gun to my head and you're like, besides Facebook and Instagram, what do you like the best? I would say Google and YouTube. Pinterest would be a close second. And then for some brands, TikTok would also be up there, depending on the type of brand. But definitely for ads, those are some great places to be. And yes, it's so much better than organic. It's not even funny. So definitely, those are the ones that I would focus on the most. Facebook and Instagram are still my favorites by far. Next question comes from Mary, and she asks, if you only have a small budget, would you still run ads on multiple platforms, or would you just choose one? And that's kind of a follow-up to the first question, really. And the question, or the answer to that is, if it's a small budget, I would focus first on just one platform. And I consider Facebook and Instagram like the same platform. That's definitely where I would go first for most businesses and advertisers. What you don't want to do is spread yourself too thin. If you only have a small budget and you try and spread it out to multiple platforms, it's probably not going to do anything for you at all. But if you focus it on one platform, you can get some results, get some data, and then grow and then expand to other platforms. If you have a little bit more than a small budget, then you can definitely jump on at least 1 or 2 other platforms or more. But for small budgets, I recommend sticking to one platform first, getting some success, and then expanding out to others. Next question comes from Charlotte. She said, hey, Phil, I love your ad stuff, but I also like to hear about your investing from time to time. Can you give me an update on what you've been up to in that regard? You bet. I love investing. A lot of people know this just because I talk about it every once in a while on the podcast. And, investing is so powerful, and it's such a great thing. Anybody can do it, whether you have a little bit to invest or a lot. And so, in terms of my investing, I'm actually loving it. I know the market is down big time this year. However, I'm not like a gambler. I'm not investing or day trading like that. I'm not gambling. I'm in it for the long haul. So I'm actually enjoying being able to buy stocks of companies that are greatly reduced in price. I mean, they're on a major sale. So as long as you're not gambling and you're not in it for like a short term, it's a great opportunity to add to your portfolio if you can. Now, you want to be smart about it, of course, but when you are, it's awesome. So I've been adding to some of my favorite stocks. Also, in regards to crypto, I know a lot of people kind of wonder about that. Yes, I do a little bit of that. However, I am very careful and I don't risk too much in that space. I like the space and I think there's a lot of potential. There's also a lot of risk in there too. And I do play in that a little bit, but I don't put too much in to where it's scary or too risky. So I do like the space, but you just got to be very careful with that. But main thing is my main message when it comes to investing, like what I've learned and what's worked for me, is that you want to actually truly invest. You don't want to gamble. And if you go into it with that mindset, I think you have a much better chance of success. Next question comes from Ricky, and he asks, what tools and software are you using these days for your Facebook ads and business? Now, I'm going to actually do an episode on this in the future because it's not just about the tools I'm using, but also how to use them and what I use them for. Because sometimes I use them for things that are a little bit different than how others use them. But I'll give you a couple of things that I'm using so I can kind of answer your question. So, of course, Canva. I think most people have heard of Canva, but creating graphics and images for ads and even videos, you can use Canva. I like Final Cut Pro a lot for videos as well. So I use that. Google Sheets, that's one of my favorite, whether it's Google Sheets or any other like spreadsheet program. That's what I use to create my dashboard that like runs my business and tells me exactly how things are going and how I analyze data. I'm definitely going to be doing an in-depth episode on this very soon, and I'm going to include video content to go with it because it's really in-depth and you're going to need to see it. So watch for that in the next month or so. But I really like Google Sheets for that. And I also use that for planning out ad angles and hooks and different things that we want to do in the future as well. For email and for CRM stuff, I like HubSpot, MailChimp, Aweber, just reputable email companies like that. I don't use all-in-one companies because I feel like I want to use companies for the thing that they're best at, not somebody that tries to be the best at everything because you really can't be. So I use email companies for email. I use landing page companies for landing pages, but not for email. So that's kind of my philosophy. When it comes to landing pages, WordPress is my favorite. Same thing for my website. Like I really like WordPress. I have full control. I can do anything with it. There's very few bugs and it runs great. And I also like Lead Pages and a few others. And working with lots of different clients, I use all the services. Obviously, I use Shopify, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, etc. So I use them all. They're all great. Some have some challenges that others don't. That's why WordPress is my favorite, but all of those platforms are good and there's others as well. So that's just kind of in a nutshell of what I use. Like I said, I'll do another episode for that in the next month or two and go much more in depth, especially on the dashboard. That's going to be a game changer for a lot of you guys because that's one of the secret sauces that we have that give us a huge advantage. So make sure you guys pay attention and watch for that in the near future. Couple more questions. The next one comes from Pamela, and she asks, would you use Fiverr to, oh man, oh Pamela, oh my gosh. I don't even know if I can finish this question, but I'm going to try. Would you use somebody on Fiverr to have someone write your ad copy? Oh, Pamela, where do we start? Would you use Fiverr to have somebody give you brain surgery? I mean, that's my answer. No, heck no. Please don't do that. So when you run ads, when you write ad copy for your ads, there's very few things that are as important to your business as the ads that you put out, the brand that you have, and what you do to get customers and clients. Like those are pretty important. That's like the life of your business, is like the quality of ads that you put out. And when you trust that to somebody on Fiverr, no, please don't do that. Please, no. Heck no, I would never do that, ever. No chance. Never. Don't even do it. Run the other way. You get what you pay for. And with some things, it's going to be fine. Like with some things, if you need like an audio file for something, or you need somebody to update a spreadsheet or something, that could be great. Like there's some services on there where it's awesome. But things that actually involve strategy and skill when it comes to like running ads or doing a pixel and setting things up right, or coming up with good ad angles and copy, there's nobody that's going to be doing that who's good, who's going to be doing it on Fiverr. They're not good if they're charging such a small amount of money. It's just not going to happen. So no, don't ever go on Fiverr for that kind of stuff. There are some good things you can get on there, but that is not one of them. Okay, second to last question, then I'll give you my number one Facebook ad tip. Next question is from Roger, and he asks, I know you mentioned working out from time to time on your podcast. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do? Yeah, you bet, Roger. I love working out. I love the gym. So I love doing the stairs, and I also love combat sports. So boxing, kickboxing, jujitsu, sparring with other guys, and like fighting and stuff like that in a sport, not out on the streets, but like in a sport. I love that kind of stuff. I do lift weights as well, but I focus a lot on things like running and stairs, because when you're boxing or when you're fighting, if you get tired, it doesn't matter how good you are or how skilled you are, you can get beat up. You're going to get beat up. If you're boxing, you really can't get tired. At least you have to try not to. And so you got to get your cardio up really good, and you got to get used to going lots of rounds without getting too tired. So that's why I focus a lot on the stairs and stuff like that. And also just doing lots and lots of rounds. So I love working out. I do it every day, 6 days a week. And I highly recommend everybody do it. I mean, not only is it good for you, it helps my business too, because it helps me think more clearly and it gives me more energy. So I just love it. And the last question before we get into our big tip, the last question is from Nellie, and she asks, do you ever run ads without a call to action button? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think I've heard that for a while. So the answer is yes, not a lot, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll want to run an ad that just has pure value, and there's literally no call to action, because my play is I want to get awareness, I want to give value, and then I'm going to come back in and retarget after the fact, especially if it's like a video. And so I don't have a button on there. Now, a lot of times I'll actually have a button on there, but I'm not going to ask them to click it specifically. So if I'm doing a video or in my ad copy above that, I'm not always going to say, hey, make sure and click the button below and go check it out, or something like that. I'm just going to give my value in the ad, but I'll still have a button there, even though I don't tell them to click it. So that's kind of another way. I still don't really consider that much of a call to action, because I'm not really pointing it out or directing them to it. It's more there for if they want to check it out on the first time seeing the ad. It's kind of nice to have there. So I'll do that sometimes too. And then obviously most of the ads we run follow that up, and they all have call to action buttons, and there's nothing wrong with doing calls to action. But sometimes at that top of the funnel, we will run some that don't have that, and those can be really, really effective. You actually don't see that very often, because most people are used to running the spammy sales pitch, crappy way of doing ads that don't work well. So when you do it different, you stand out, and it can work really well. So I would definitely recommend trying that out. I wouldn't have that be my only ad. I would definitely have retargeting that comes behind that has a call to action, but definitely check it out and see how that works for you, because it's done great for us. Okay, and then my number one ad tip that I'm going to leave you guys with in this last episode of 2022 it's kind of like, it's tough to say number one, because I could literally give you 50 different number one tips that are all equally important. But the number one tip I'm going to give you guys today is typically different than what you'll hear most people saying. And that is to become really great at ads and to become really successful at ads, you really need to focus on becoming great at evaluating data, adapting to it, and acting on the data from ads and taking your emotions out of it. That's how I became great at ads. I had to build that up and use years of experience in running ads and data and just all that stuff in order to get really good. And when you focus on that, it gives you an edge that most people don't have. Most people just randomly run ads and they don't know why it didn't work or did work. If you always know why it didn't work or you always know why it did work, you become better every single time you run a new ad. And the way to do that is by becoming really good at evaluating that data. That's one of the things I love teaching people, because nobody really gets that kind of training anywhere else. And so that's my number one ad tip for today and moving forward is you need to become amazing at that. And the good news is anybody can. It's very doable. It doesn't have to take you forever. And when you do become good at that, you give yourself such an edge, it's not even funny. So, my friends, I hope that was fun and helpful for you guys. Episode 294 is in the books, the last episode of 2022. Don't forget, next couple episodes, the ones to start 2023, will be all about how to crush ads in 2023. So make sure you listen to those. And again, if you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.